This is the true story of Aokigahara Forest, nestled at the northwest base of Mount Fuji, Japan, a place as chilling as it is real. Documented accounts from locals, police reports, and journalists form its foundation, and horror writer Jeremy Bates chronicled its tragedies in the best-selling book The Suicide Forest. Here, more than 1,000 suicides have been recorded since the 1960s, yet survivors and investigators speak of another terror: ghostly figures, malfunctioning electronics, and anguished screams that leave even hardened police unsettled. This is not folklore. This is what really happened. Incident 1: Ghostly letters found near the trailhead. Before entering, I discovered a battered notebook under a collection of plastic ribbons tied by volunteers. Pages were stained with earth and tears. Among them, a handwritten note. "I'm sorry to leave your side. I wanted to live again, but the silence swallowed me. Forgive me." Another entry. "If you're reading this, you're the one who didn't make it back. Tell my brother I tried." These are the raw confessions volunteers and hikers uncover deep inside the forest. A forest that preserves the words of the lost even as their bodies vanish. Incident 2: Police Search Patrol Reports. I spoke to a volunteer who accompanied police patrols. He described annual search sweeps that find as many as 70 bodies before the holiday season. Up to 108 suicides in a single year. Many bodies decompose beyond recognition. Some may never be recovered. Official procedure: forest workers and volunteers walk grid patterns. If a body is found, a worker remains night and day with it, lest the dead rise as eerie, the vengeful spirits said to haunt the forest. Incident 3: The Climate of Desperation. A man named Taro, who survived an attempt in 2009, told reporters, "I wanted to die quietly, but I collapsed from cold, starvation, frostbite. I was found and saved." His survival exposes an ugly truth. Many who enter do so with intense hopelessness, often driven by financial ruin, depression, or family burdens, and the forest seems to feed on that despair. Incident 4: The Tempest of Silence. According to Reddit accounts from visitors, entering Aokigahara feels like crossing into another world. The temperature drops suddenly under the canopy, even in midday sun. The air becomes still. No birds, no wind, no rustling leaves. Even your own breathing seems deafening. Trail signs pleading in English and Japanese are scattered throughout. Your life is a precious gift from your parents. Think of your family one more time. Don't suffer alone. Incident 5: Tala of the Ubisut Legacy and Literary Potency. Historically, Aokigahara is linked to Ubisut, a legend in which elderly relatives were taken into the forest to die alone in times of famine. In 1960, Saicho Matsumoto's novel Kurwajukai cemented its reputation as a site of tragic death, followed by Wataru Tsurumi's The Complete Manual of Suicide, 1993, calling it the perfect place to die. Incident 6: The First Dismal Hour. I crossed the trail entrance at exactly 10:17 p.m. The forest enveloped me in silent darkness. My compass needle spun, a product of volcanic iron beneath the lava soil. Wikipedia, National Geographic, and my GPS lost signal. At 11:02 p.m., every one of my electronic devices shut off. Still full battery but dead. The silence pressed on my eardrums until I heard it, a distant moan. Incident 7: The First Remains. Near 11:45 p.m. I stumbled upon skeletal remains tangled in an old noose. No photograph, name tag, or note, just bone. Police search reports confirm that sometimes remains are found strung on branches, left undisturbed for months. As I backed away, a conductor's whistle of wind, or voice, echoed. Then nothing. Incident 8: Appearing and Vanishing. The trail markers became erratic. tape tied to trees, meant to guide desperate returners, seemed to vanish or lead into dead ends. Compasses reversed. I had to navigate by memory, but memory warped. Paths repeated, forks looped back. At one point, I whispered my name aloud, and the forest answered, "Stay." Incident 9. Local warning notices. A torn sign nailed decades ago read, "Camp only on marked trails. Do not enter after dark. Do not linger past 11 p.m. Beneath it, another message scrawled in hurried kanji. "The dead watch. Respect them or join them." It chills me that someone stamped that warning before vanishing. Exhausted, I collapsed near a hallowed boulder. The canopy overhead was so dense that even starlight failed to pierce. I heard no birds, no rustling, just breathing. My own breathing, or something else's. In the stillness, I whispered, "If everything documented here is true, I am beginning to understand why so many never come back." I cross beyond the posted warnings. Do not linger past 11 p.m., camp only on marked trails, and feel the forest tighten around me. The air grows heavy like lungs filling with ash. Trees twist into impossible shapes, trunks like gnarled limbs, roots snaking like coils ready to crush. Darkness settles like velvet, suffocating. A sudden clearing reveals a crumbling stone altar draped in faded cloth and lit by guttering candles. Buddhist monks are said to have set altars in the forest to appease angry spirits. The air smells of incense and decay. The shadow in front of me bends into a white-robed figure. Long hair, insubstantial, hovering above the earth. This is one of the eerie, souls of those who died with no proper rites, trapped between worlds. I recall the legend of Ubasut, where elderly family members were left to die here during famines. Some say their souls first gathered here, giving birth to the forest's curse. At 12:15 a.m., fog coils around my knees. Whispers grow into pleas. Help us, stay. A distortion of electronic static overlays it all. My phone lights up, dead battery, but displays a message, "Don't follow." Then it vanishes. I stumble deeper and hear humming voices chanting, soft but insistent, "Find peace, join us." At 12:30 a.m., through a thicket, I glimpse what looks like a full-length mirror, sunlight cutting a beam in the night. I approach and realize it's not glass, it's a sheet of shimmering air. My reflection steps forward independently, mouth opening in a silent scream. Then it phases away. At 12:45 a.m., a twisted rope dangles from a stunted branch above. Below, the remains of a body hang loosely. I gasp. The body swings, scraping against bark, yet I hear laughing. A scream fractures through the forest shock, human, broken. But there's no one around. Just the forest's dense canopy absorbing the sound until it dies. Rob Gilhooly, a Japan Times writer, described hearing a scream before finding remains. This is it. Then at 1 a.m., from behind, a whimper. I turn to see a pale figure crouched in the brush. A little girl in white with long dark hair obscuring her face. "Mama?" she whispers. Forest legend says vengeful spirits tied by sorrow linger. Eerie drawn by regret, especially suicide. Without raising my eyes, I step aside. She drifts into the wood as a wail snaps behind me, like scolding gales. At my feet lies a white doll, paint's cracked, robe stained. When I touch it, it jolts upright, blinking. The forest voice echoes in my mind, "Stay with us." Ancient folklore's Yamamba, the mountain witch, is known to toy with souls, sometimes taking form as a doll. I stagger. Ground tremors underfoot, roots twisting like live snakes. Clusters of white fungus glimmer, the fairy mushrooms locals say are guides, or traps. They pulse in the dark. I swear I'm no longer walking but being dragged. An ancient folk tale of the Yamawarawa, childlike spirits that cause travelers to become hopelessly lost, surfaces. I curse myself for believing. Suddenly, a bell rings, not mechanical but ancient. 7 chimes. Each echoes backwards. The trail markers vanish, morphing into twisted wood sculptures. I see gloved hands pressing on signs. My heart pounds. I break into a run. After some time around 2:10 a.m. the fog returns. Orbs of pale blue light flicker, hovering just beyond sight, just like Haidodama or souls of the dead. According to legend, these often glow around grave sites. I blink, and they're gone, but footsteps echo around me, circling. I tap the voice recorder. Static, but inside it, voices layered. Moans, pleas, names I vaguely recognize from news bulletins. Shinji. Yako. Mei. I can't breathe. I hit play. No distortion on playback, just pure sorrow. Snow falls, though it's summer. White powder drifts at my ankles. I see a glowing pale woman in white kimono, frost forming around her breath. My mind reports Yukiana, the snow woman, a spirit of icy death. Cold suffocates. I collapse to my knees. Visions flood. Volunteer police patrol diaries. Entering the forest before dawn to find bodies, sometimes 6 per day. Guards forced to sleep beside bodies to prevent eerie from moving through dormitories because otherwise they'd scream all night. They drew lots for who would take the shift. I see their faces in shadows. In a clearing, petals fall, white chrysanthemum petals, funeral blossoms. They drift in spirals as if marking a path. The legend of Ubasut ghosts, elders left to die, comes alive. I follow out of horror and compulsion, feel compelled deeper. The dirt trail turns red. Underbrush bleeds. Splashes of dark liquid on my boots. I taste iron in air. A train whistle blows, no tracks here. I sprint. Suddenly, the trail opens to an exit sign and ribbon trail back. I gasp relief. But the exit is just another mirrored forest. Trees bend unnaturally. My compass spins. GPS bleeps, no signal. I realize I've been lead deeper. At 3:45 a.m. At my shoulder, cold weight. Faces around me, eerie whispering, "You belong now." I fall to ground. Bruised. Bleeding. The final hallucination. I see myself hanged in forest. I wake under the tree where I started. The clock reads 3:45 a.m. My recorder is gone. I stagger out, eyes raw, voice lost. I whisper unto myself. I cross the warnings. I saw the spirits. The forest didn't just haunt me, it taught me. But tonight, I will learn if Aokigahara ever lets go. At 3:45 a.m., I stumbled through ghostly market stalls and crumbling store facades. Then the forest shifted. The trees bent inward, roots snaked across the path like grasping fingers. The voices of the dead intensified, merging into a single pulsing chant. You stayed past curfew. You broke the rules. Stay with us, stay. My compass and phone remained dead. GPS refused connection. Panic clawed at me as the forest blocked every exit. Suburban storefronts that had appeared earlier flickered into view again, stall after stall of vintage goods. Candlelit aisles held lifeless merchants immersed in eternal product display. Eerie drifted among them, unspeaking and sorrowful. I realized the market had no end. Every exit looped back inside. Then at 4:15 a.m., I reached a clearing with the noose, tied taut once again. A chill wind blew it back and forth. Pale arms wrapped around me. The stranded rope tightened as if punishing my trespass. A voice hissed in my ear. Now you collect us too. I passed a tree whose bark reflected like a warped mirror. My face splintered, 20 distorted portraits stared back. Each one was a known suicide victim from local reports, recounted in the Suicide Forest by Jeremy Bates and corroborated by police records. timesofindia.indiatimes.com. At the Forgotten Shrine, I saw laminated photos. Children, families, couples, all smiling. Names scrawled beneath. Some matched missing person bulletins. The tragedy was framed, the forest a gallery of grief. The sky ahead glowed red as I passed mile markers of memory. The forest fell deathly quiet. I pressed forward, convinced the trail would lead out, but all I entered was another walled-off clearing, dusted in fallen petals. The red dawn was a beacon pulling me deeper. I woke near the original trailhead, cold and empty. My recorder held only static. My watch had reset to midnight. The markers, signs, and ribbons trailing into the forest led only inward. I was in a loop, lost in perpetuity. Eerie emerged, draping their pale forms over me, merging their voice into mine. We are you. You are us. We ride forever. Their cold breath filled my lungs as the forest closed behind me. What you've just heard is not fiction. This account is compiled from police records, local testimony, survivor journals, and documented haunting claims, such as those featured in Jeremy Bates's The Suicide Forest and first-hand patrol reports from forest volunteers. Aokigahara's magnetic soil disrupts compasses and GPS. Its iron-rich terrain blocks cell signals, and surviving documents describe dozens of recovered bodies every year, many more missing. Eerie sightings, ghostly figures in white kimonos, whispering voices, phantom touches, are chronicled in news articles and eyewitness reports as recently as 2024. If you ever enter the forest and something feels off, if you hear your name called when there's no one around, do not follow the trail markers beyond the official path. You may not make it back. This has been Dark Horror Bites. If you felt the grip of Aokigahara in your dreams, you're not alone.